So, the first episode of Brushing Teeth with Robert. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we'll see how long it does. So, I picked a fine time to start all this. We're in the middle of a pandemic. And I was wondering if maybe somebody out there could explain to me what is the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea the difference. You would think I would take 5 seconds to look it up and figure out what it is, but I have not. I know that it is an odd time. It's an odd time. This is a very, very, very odd time in our life. It was funny because there are many times in my life I think I've wished I lived in a different era, and I think we're all kind of like that sometimes. We think that we were better suited for a different decade, or you see those hipsters at coffee shops pull out like an actual old school like Royal typewriter and pretend like they're a newsman in the 50s or some Jack Kerouac, and that's the kind of person that when you're at a party, they say, well, I've always felt that I was better suited for the jazz age or some shit like that. This is the one time when I have to admit that I kind of wish I'd been born in the 50s. I really wish I had. This is weird. I don't think this is an ender by any means, and I don't think anybody else should. I think that people are finally doing the numbers and realizing that this isn't as bad as what we think, but it's bad. I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to skirt around the fact that it's not bad. So here's the thing. So before I got in here, I was watching The Big Short. I was eating pizza and watching The Big Short. By the way, phenomenal movie. Great movie. Adam McKay, I believe Will Ferrell was involved in it. Was that Steve Carell? Brad Pitt's in it. It's chocked full of people, and it talks about the housing crisis in 2008. I remember when that hit, just like I remember the cyclical thing, like the World Trade Center, when the World Trade Center hit. Things were a little crazy. They were a little nutty. They were. I can see the glare of the computer in here. That looks like that's one thing that I'm doing wrong here, and I'll figure that out eventually. Let's see. Oh, nope, that doesn't work. So, here's the deal. When those things happened, a lot of people thought it was the end of the world, and they thought all sorts of crazy things were going to go down. People were going to get bankrupt. Everybody was going to die. People were going to be on soup lines. You're welcome for that. And it didn't happen. None of that happened. It didn't. It's not going to happen this time either. I know that we're starting to find that more people are immune to it, of course, and we're starting to find that even the numbers don't really add up. But we're also starting to, I think, as a populace, we're starting to figure out that everybody lies. They're all liars. Politicians, journalists, news media outlets, other countries. We're starting to figure out that for some reason we're all willing to look at somebody who comes by us and say, hey, stay healthy, or watch out for yourself, or I've heard this a lot over the last couple weeks. If you need anything, let me know. And it seems like as individuals we're willing to do that, and yet for some reason the larger entities are not. We are starting to see things like insurance companies and mortgage companies, especially the big banks, give people leeway, but it's a weird time. It's a weird time, and I don't want to be one of those people add to a downer in any way, shape, or form. I don't, so I want to tell everybody that it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. Enjoy being home. Jesus Christ, enjoy being home. One thing I learned about this weekend is I don't have to go spend money on a bunch of arbitrary crap. You know, somehow I'll figure. Okay, so this is what happened to me on Saturday night. Saturday I went on a scooter ride through the city. Later on that evening, I went to my friend Aaron's house. Of course, we talked 30 freaking miles away. I stood in his front yard. He sat on his porch, and we basically sat there and talked. And afterwards, I decided to drive back through this area of town called Bishop Arts. Now, as you notice in the description, it talks about Oak Cliff and Dallas. That is where I currently reside. And around the corner from me is this really hip area called Bishop Arts. And it's normally, especially on Friday and Saturday nights, really every night is pretty crowded. But on Friday and Saturday nights especially, it's pretty crowded. And it's a ghost town right now. So I say, hey, I'll stop. I'll look and maybe take some photographs. Probably be neat and novel and all those cool, the silent city things. And I was on a Vespa scooter. And the Vespa scooter has a luggage rack on the back. It has a luggage compartment on the back of it. And I opened it up to get my cigarettes and my lighter out. And I set my keys down in there and closed the fucking cover. And when you have locked your keys in something, and though it is in slow motion that the thing is closing, you still don't have the ability to stop it or reach in there and get your keys. That's pretty much what happened to me. So in the middle of a pandemic, I'm in the middle of a hot spot of the city. There's not a lot of people out, but it's still a little nerve-wracking, and I have to call a locksmith. By the way, locksmiths are a total ripoff. The honest truth is, I'm dead serious. I think like 7 times out of 10, they're just going to drill out your lock anyways, and you're going to have to get a new lock any fucking ways. And the thing is they're going to do this is when they come there, they're going to be like, okay, I get your keys. I unlock your door. $140. You're like, $140 fucking dollars. You could literally kick your door in at your house and replace it for like $100. Like, it would save you money, but for some reason you decide to pay the $140. And again, I'm telling you, 7 times out of 10, they're going to end up drilling out your lock anyways. They're going to end up ruining your lock and not replacing it for any amount of money. And the thing is, it's so funny because they're going to tell you it's $140 to unlock it properly. But then when they have to drill it out, they're going to go, okay, I drill out for $120. You're like, what? Fucking $20. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. You're basically destroying something. I'm paying you $120 for you to destroy something of mine. Basically what I did is I pay this Israeli locksmith $120 to destroy something of mine. So no matter what, I can tell you this, no matter what, on a Saturday night, you're going to figure out a way to spend $100. Somehow you're going to figure out a way to spend that $100. It's going to get spent. But the thing is whether it gets spent on arbitrary crap or not. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. I spent mine on arbitrary crap. I'm very fucking aware of it. But I didn't spend it on truly arbitrary crap because it's not like I was going out getting drunk and driving drunk and all that. I was actually just going out and, I had good intentions. There were good there were good intentions involved in the entire situation. So the thing about Oak Cliff, especially right now, is it's quiet. It's quiet. I kind of live in Gunshot Central, and it's okay. It's nothing I haven't done. Well, okay. So a little background is I lived in Austin for like over 20 years, And I just recently moved to Dallas, and the honest truth is, Austin's really like the pussy city of Texas. It really is the pussy city of Texas. I mean, people in Austin, you're not going to find them. They're not going to go walking through the bad areas of Houston. They're not going to go walking through the bad areas. Like the worst area in Austin is like the best area in Houston. I mean, really, it's true. It's absolutely true. It's ridiculous how easy people in Austin have it. They do not realize. They do not realize true crime. Recently, they had a rash of I think they had a rash of shootings in downtown or something like that, like down near 6th Street and 5th Street, and they were having a bad problem with it, and everybody was up in arms. It was a big deal. It was a huge deal that everybody was up in arms about these shootings that were happening in the entertainment district, or the 6th Street and 5th Street district. Or 6th and 7th Street. That's what it was. 6th and 7th Street. Because 7th Street has this crazy homeless shelter called Caritas, I think is what it's called. I always thought it was Caritas. I got to be honest with you. And at first, it's so funny because the way it was built and the signage, I really thought it was like a big restaurant. Like I thought it was like kind of like a big like cheesecake factory, like Mexican restaurant cheesecake factory. And I thought that for years. I really did. I thought that for years. But no, it's a big homeless shelter. And... they were having a rash of shootings last year. And everybody was up in arms about all these shootings that were happening down there. So basically, they were 40 years behind every other major city in which that had been going on. Let me put something in perspective. I want to put some perspective that comes back around to this whole Corona or COVID-19 thing, which is this. If you consider, now think about this. I've been to some pretty rough cities, Detroit, Chicago, places like that. Now, I want you to think about it this way, that in any given Friday or Saturday night in the city of Chicago, like 30 people die of gunshots. Every day 7,700 people die? I think that's what it is. Like in the U.S., over 7,000 people every single day die. Hold on. You're going to stick around for a second because here's the deal. Speaking of which, this virus could not have hit at a worse time. And the reason being is that it's allergy season. So who the hell knows what we have? Nobody knows. It could just be really bad allergies. It probably is really bad allergies, as a matter of fact. All right, I'll be right back. Stick with me. Stay with me. Okay. All right. So, also, by the way, I'm going to take this time to do a shameless plug, which a shameless plug is for a podcast that I was on for a very long time with my best friend, Brian Upshaw. If you get a chance, it's on iTunes. It's called Jello Podcasting. There are many episodes of it. It was a lot of fun to do. And by the way, this podcast is literally brought to you by that podcast because last Saturday, unbeknownst to me, a package showed up on my front door that was sent to me by Brian. And so he is the one who sent this to me to, I'm pretty sure, get my mind off of everything else that was happening in this world. So, what was I saying? Oh, yes, the violence in Austin. So I recently moved to Dallas. By the way, Dallas is no joke. It's a no joke city. There's no joke violence. I remember a few months after I moved here, my friend Aaron, and I'd mentioned to him that for a very long time, I had ambitions to run for city council. And I wanted to start out by running on the education board and then slowly going into city council. And then he turned to me and said, don't. And I said, "Well, wait, what do you mean don't?" And he goes, "No, you don't want to do that." And I said, "Well, I mean, I care about my community. Well, I mean, I've always thought about doing it, and I'm trying to make this kind of fresh start in a new city. A young girl in the new city, like Mary Tyler Moore, thinking I'm going to make it after all or whatever." But he said the reason I don't want to do that is because in Dallas, it is not unusual for people who have held city council seats for a very, very, very long time to bury their rivals, or they get shot by cops, or their house is accidentally raided because it's the wrong address or something like that. I'm telling you, in the first year I moved here, they put at least 4 different people from the city in jail. Like I think there were people from the affordable housing division, like 3 people from there. I think they put a principal in jail for misappropriating like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, Dallas is a no joke crime city. And yet I came from a city in which in that same year I saw a video of the Austin City Council doing Zumba. Yeah. Doing Zumba. I don't know if you know what Zumba is, but you should look it up, because basically what it is, it's like Weight Watchers for people who want to feel Brazilian. I'm fairly certain that's what Zumba is. Zumba is like jazzercise if it had bongos. So I'm fairly, I don't think I'm too far off when I talk about Zumba in that respect. So I would say this during this time, if there's anything I could say, is just do 3 things. Stay hydrated, get sleep, and try to do something about their immune system. I mean, here's the deal: is that we're being stuck at home is probably a good thing for all of us. And I am not young by any means, as you can see from this right here, these things that happened to me, and that thing, like that. I think that shows my age more than anything. I call that my asshole wrinkle. That's my wrinkle that, if I'm in a bar and it's somebody I don't want to talk to, that's my asshole. I'm like, you can see, look at it, like you can go pretty far back and still see that is a thing that happens in my forehead. Like, look how far back I am already. Like, it's there. Like, it's definitely a thing that happens. And so I am not young by any means, but I can tell you this, that I still go out like I'm young. And that's the thing that this has really done for me, is it's made me realize I don't have to go out like I'm young. I can stay in. I can do yard work. I can clean and organize things that need to be cleaned and organized. I know it sounds boring. I know. Listen. Okay, just ignore everything I said. All right, get some sleep. Hype up your immune system. Get a little exercise. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you what I did today that I'm very proud of. As of right now, literally probably to this minute almost, I've gone 24 hours without a cigarette. And I don't think I have done that in over a year now. I had quit smoking for a really, really, really long time. I had quit for 5 or 6 years. And then when I moved here, I started smoking pretty hardcore again. And luckily, this entire thing has given me a little bit of thought on my respiratory system. So I ditched the fags. Yep, that's what they're called. That is what they're called in England. That is not, I don't even know. They're probably not even called that anymore. I think I was told that in the 80s, and I just kind of stuck with it every once in a while. But I did ditch the smokes. I decided to not smoke anymore. And I absolutely feel sorry for everyone around me because that is probably the only thing I'm going to talk about for a very long time, which is that that I am not smoking, and B, that anytime I am angry, I'm absolutely going to use that as the excuse as to why I'm angry. So I'm going to use that as my anger crutch that I quit smoking about 24 hours ago. I'm very proud of myself. So we can use it, we can use this time to do that maybe. Try something new. Even if it's not trying something new. What is that? Everything in moderation, including moderation. I think that I think this is a good start. I think this is 20 minutes in. I think I'll go ahead and call it quits now while I'm ahead, and I will say that thank you for tuning in to brushing teeth with Robert. I'm hoping that somebody found this interesting in any way, shape, or form. If you're in Oak Cliff or in Dallas, hopefully I lent something to this. Don't worry, this podcast will never turn into me tallying scores of people sick and dying, but hopefully it'll take your mind off things for about 20 or 25 minutes. By the way, go watch The Big Short. Go watch that. Go on. That's another thing, by the way, that this whole shut-in thing has done. I bet you that there are more people watching Game of Thrones over for the third time than have ever happened. So go catch up on something. Go watch something you haven't watched. Be a shut-in. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, because after it's all over, people are going to be forcing us out of our houses to go do arbitrary shit that we don't want to do. Like go have dinner with family that we don't want to see, even though I really want to see all my family. Let's be honest. I like giving them a hell of a time. So listen, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed everything I had to say. And if you didn't, I don't fucking care. I got to be honest with you. I'll be lucky if you enjoyed 20%. Sorry, snivels. I got allergies bad. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of it. I hope it took your mind off of things. So if it did, you're welcome. And if it didn't, fuck it. Don't listen anymore. I don't give a shit. All right. So this is me signing off. And I'll go ahead and say this in closing. Logan, you owe me a lot of money. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Brushing Your Teeth with Robert. I gotta figure out what to do about that glare. Look at that. It's like a cartoon eyeballs. Bye.